Hi, and welcome back to Jilly's Journey. If you visited my YouTube channel before and you're returning, I just want to thank you so much. I know that my videos are not great quality. I simply record them on my phone. I don't have a tripod. I don't have good lighting. So if you're here and you're supporting me, again, I appreciate that. I'd love to have like a side hustle on YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, I am doing YouTube to hopefully reach people and definitely help people. Of course, there is purpose in what I'm doing, but I would also love to be a little bit successful on YouTube and have it as like a side thing that I can do and earn some income. So if you do like what you see or what you're hearing, please subscribe and like the video. And without further ado, let's get into this topic. So, this YouTube video is about how to handle mental illness. First of all, listen to me because I have so much experience battling mental illness, being in and out of psychiatric care facilities dozens and dozens of times. I have used lots of different medications and I've had success with medications and I've had horrible experiences with medications. I've gone off of medications and done really well using CBD as an alternative. But then after a year, I was starting to have mental problems again and I needed to go back on pharmaceuticals. So it's a lot of people, of course, do not support like the pharmaceutical industry. But honestly, quite frankly, a lot of the people that tell me that they don't support it, they smoke weed, they drink alcohol. So they're medicating themselves as well. They're just doing it in a different way. I think that if you have something wrong with your brain or a mental illness or an emotional, like you're just always depressed or you're always anxious, if you're dealing with something, I'm not saying just immediately go get medicated, but maybe you should get referred to a therapist. Maybe you should talk out your problems. Maybe it would be really helpful to try a medication, and there's no shame in that, and there's no harm in that. And there's so many medications on the market. It took me a long time, unfortunately, to realize that I could change the medications I was on so that I had less side effects. It took me a long time. I self-advocated forever and nothing really changed for the better until the last year or so. So I'm doing really well. And yeah, let's get into it. So, how to handle mental illness. Number one, believe in yourself. You know, trust your doctors. And if there's a doctor that you really don't like, and I'm saying like you really don't like them and you think they're making you worse, we're not supposed to be best friends with our doctor. They're not supposed to be someone that we just want to hang out with. They're supposed to be someone that's prescribing you the right medications and is treating you with dignity and respect. So believe in yourself, trust your doctors once you find ones that you're willing to work with. Stay the course and don't give up. So, what I mean by all of this, believe in yourself, trust, stay the course. It helps to be optimistic. And that sounds very cliche and like a broad statement, but just thinking positively. If you find that you're having negative thoughts about your situation and negative thoughts about yourself, you have to like actively think something positive. Um, so if you're, for me, for example, I will beat myself up about my weight because I've used medications for so long that have caused weight gain. Um, and it's important for me to, if I'm going to start beating myself up about the way I look, it's important for me to stop and tell myself, hey, you look great. Or, um, you did your makeup really well today, or your outfit is really cute. Or, friends and family members of mine will be like, "Oh no, you look great. Like you don't look bad." And I'll just be like, take what they say and believe it. And the thing is, I have a body that I can work with and I can try to make changes, and I should be grateful that I can move my body and try all these things to help myself lose weight. So that's just an example. Be optimistic. Whatever the obstacle is, um, being negative, you have to catch yourself and turn it around, because if you don't, that makes your situation worse. You're going to be your own worst enemy if you're just dwelling on your problems. That said, I know that when you're in the middle of dealing with mental illness, it's really hard to be optimistic. But as soon as your doctors help you out, as soon as they get you on the right medication, or maybe you don't use medication, as soon as you get to meet with your therapist and have a nice 45-minute, 50-minute session with them, um, just be like, okay, I've just done something that helps me. Now I need to really suck it up and try to be more positive and um, turn my story around. So, yeah, um, also be honest and communicate well. So be honest with your doctors about how you feel and what your symptoms are. Don't be afraid if you're not doing well, don't be afraid that, like, oh, they're going to increase my medication, or oh, they're going to um admit me to the hospital or something. Don't be afraid to be honest with them, because you have your own rights and no one can force you to do anything. So they can make suggestions. If you really don't want to do something that they're asking you to do, tell them that you don't want to do it, but be honest. Explain why. Are you fearful that you're going to become dependent on medication? Are you fearful that this medication is going to make you gain weight? Are you fearful that if you, you know, if you bring any of this up, they're going to admit you to the psychiatric center? Like, bring that up to them. Say, hey, I want to be honest with you and tell you that I'm having some troubling symptoms, but I really hope that you won't put me inpatient just because I'm telling you this. Stand up for yourself. So being optimistic, being honest, and communicating well, and trusting the process, that's such a cliche, but it still is a nice thing to remind yourself, because you could have ups and downs for a year, which is like a long time, but you never know. Like, after that year, you might just be on the up and up, and you might do really well, and you might stabilize and things are good. Um, so yeah, the the second piece, that was all kind of jumbled together. Believe in yourself, trust your doctors, stay the course. You're kind of just like believing in the situation and not giving up when the going gets tough. Um, Number two, piggybacking a little bit on what I've said before, advocate for yourself. So, for example, um, medications. Do you think that you need a change in your medication or your medication dose? Are your symptoms bothering you? Do you hate your medications and you feel an urge to stop them? Tell your doctor all of this. Don't leave anything out. I'm going to repeat those questions. Do you think you need a change in your medication or your medication dose? Do your symptoms bother you? Do you hate your medications so much that you feel an urge to stop them? Tell your doctor these things. As a paid professional, they should help you make any changes to your meds that benefit you and make your healing process more sustainable and realistic. They're being paid to do this. So they're also human, and they're imperfect, and they're not geniuses. They have to try things sometimes. Sometimes they don't know the best answer, and sometimes our problems are so specific and unique that there isn't really one solution. Sometimes it's a combination of improving your lifestyle, taking medication, and avoiding certain things. It just is what it is. Some of us are more sensitive, some of us, it's like everyone. You grow up in a different household, your environment is different from the next person's, your genetic makeup is different, your lifestyle choices are different. So it's the same thing with like your mental health. And if you end up having a mental illness diagnosis, just because you have a diagnosis, that's just a way for the doctors to have an idea of what they're working with. That doesn't mean that like you are just a depressed person, or you are just a psychotic person, or you are just anxious, or um yeah, it's really not a label about you and who you are. It's a label that gives the doctors an idea. Okay, this is the type of medication that we want to work with. Now let me see if we want to give her A, B, C, or D. You know, yeah. So number three is be accountable. This is important, and it takes practice, because We all have to be accountable when we go to work, or if you go to school, you have to be accountable for that. If you're a parent, you have to be accountable for your kids. But if you have a big situation in your life, such as taking medications for mental illness, then you and going to therapy appointments, you have to be accountable. So take your medications on time and stay on top of your refills. So this means getting yourself a pill box. I have a morning and night pill box, so it's connected, and then I have my morning meds and my night meds, Sunday through Saturday. So I am good. I've been doing this for years. I'm good at taking my medications on time, and I've become better, much better the last year and a half. Excuse me, staying on top of my refills. So when I fill the the weekly medication organizer helps even if you don't need it, even if you only take one pill a day and you think you don't need a medication box, I suggest that you get one anyway. Um, and like I said, if you only take one pill, then you only need an inexpensive, like Sunday through Saturday pill box, a very basic one. But the reason why you want to use that is because every week that you go to fill it, eventually you're going to pick up your bottle of medication and you're going to go to put it all in your weekly organizer, and you're going to be like, "Oh, I only have enough to go until Wednesday." So it's going to kind of help you see how much you have in terms of how many pills you have, and then you can be like, "Okay, I should call right now the pharmacy and refill my prescription." Um, so yeah, so that's important. Stay on top of your meds, and take them on time. Keep your appointments and arrive on time, and go prepared with notes if you need to take notes about what you're going through. So it's hard. It's another appointment. We have doctor's appointments, we have dental appointments, we have work, we have other things going on. So it's another thing that you have to put on your schedule. But just like going to work, you want to make sure that you keep your appointment, because even if you feel like you don't need to talk to a therapist that month, or maybe you see one every 2 months or something, even if you feel like you don't need it, try to keep that appointment, because if something happens and you can't make the next one, then all of a sudden you're 2 months, 3 months, 4 months behind and you haven't seen a therapist. So be on top of that as well. Um, and it doesn't hurt. I mean, you don't want to like beat a dead horse and just be talking to them about the same things over and over again. Obviously, that's not really helpful, but there might be something that you can bring up, something new. And if not, maybe your appointment will be shorter. Maybe you're going to spend like 15 minutes with your therapist, and then you're both going to be like, okay, I mean, that's it for today. So that, and be honest with your doctor and work honestly with them. Honesty is very important. Um, that's a little bit self-explanatory. That's like with everything. We have to be honest. And so let's move on. Yeah, number 4, find activities that improve your overall health, including your mental health. Now, this one is easy because there's a lot of activities that I have written down that will help pretty much everybody. So if you want some ideas, here are some. Physical movement throughout the day. For me, this looks like taking a walk in the morning and stretching. Um, that same morning or that night, if it's possible, I'll work out, like such as lifting weights or something more intense. So if it's my day off from work, I might add in this second workout. And then I will basically walk or stretch or dance whenever it's possible throughout the day. Um, the physical movement really helps, especially if you take medications that cause weight gain, because some medications that cause weight gain, they cause it because they slow your metabolism down a little bit. And your body, sometimes carbs will affect you more. Like eating too many carbs, if you take certain meds, will cause you to gain even more weight than someone that doesn't take medication. So it doesn't mean that you like can't have a slice of pizza or you can't have a slice of bread sometimes, or like one, a little bit every day. Like that's not a huge deal, but you have to be moving. And I suggest doing something for movement in the morning that's enjoyable. And then later in the day, if you don't have to go to work or if you have the time, fit in a more challenging workout or take another walk or dance in your room, just anything. I think that moving throughout the day is what's key. Getting a half hour to 30 to 60 minutes of continual exercise, that is important, but you shouldn't be sedentary if you're having trouble with weight gain from your meds. That's something that I've learned. Um, so another activity that improves your overall health, including your mental health, is journaling. So of course, journaling will help get your thoughts out. It's nice to journal in the morning, and it's nice to journal at night. And any other time that you want to do it is cool, but those times are good because you're getting your thoughts out either before you start your day or you're getting your thoughts out before you go to bed. So that's good. Brain games are huge. Some medications can make you feel numb. Some medications can make it hard to focus. It's not good for your brain. But you weigh the pros and cons. So if you need to take medication, then you need to figure out how to make it work for you. So doing brain games will just help your brain stay healthy and young. I personally like to find kids' activity books at the dollar store or anywhere. You could find kids' activity books with puzzles, mazes, crosswords, word finds. And the reason I like the kids' ones is because there are some pages that are far too easy for me to do, but there are a lot of pages that are easy enough where I can finish it, but they're engaging enough to make my brain work a little bit. Um, so I recommend those. If you are faithful of some kind, like I'm a Christian, prayer is really helpful. Getting vocal about what you are thinking or what you're feeling and talking to God or talking to whoever you want to talk to. Fresh air. So getting outside. I choose to take a walk in the mornings because I get outside as well and it gives me some sunlight and it gets my body moving. So, and then arts. So dancing, singing, drawing, like anything that you can kind of engage in that you enjoy. And it could be anything, like for girls, like maybe you like to paint your nails, maybe you like to do your makeup. For men, maybe um I don't know, maybe you'd be surprised. Maybe you should turn some music on and dance in your room, or maybe you should just get a cheap box of crayons and color something. Like it sounds crazy, but um it is good to get involved in the arts because that's another thing that's good for your brain. So just two more here. I'm almost done. We're almost at Gonna be getting at 20 minutes pretty soon. So the next one is find work or volunteer work that you enjoy or something that you at least find manageable that you don't mind doing. In work or volunteering will take your mind off of yourself and um it'll take your mind off of yourself for like hours. Like even if you have a lot going on and a lot on your mind and it's hard to not think about it, eventually during like 6 hours of work or more, you're probably going to have some moments where you're really not thinking about that problem anymore, and that's so healthy because you're kind of in the flow, which is good. You're in the flow of work and you're gonna something might be bothering you nonstop and you might be obsessing or ruminating or whatever. And if you can just get yourself to work or volunteer after the first couple of hours or few hours, you really are going to think less and less of that problem. And that's just so good for you. So that, and finally, socialize. So socialize in person. Social media, texting, not bad. But socialize in person at least once a week. I know that that can be hard if you feel lonely and you feel like you have no friends. Life is always changing. We all go through seasons where we're a little bit lonely. We all go through seasons where we might not have many friends that are around, or you get older and people have less time. Um, but try to find a social group. I do recommend churches. Like I am a Christian, and yeah, you kind of have to be of a certain faith to go to a church, but I mean, maybe you would like that. Maybe you should kind of get in, dabble into your faith a little bit. If you're atheist, I don't know what to tell you there, but I think that, for me, the best thing I ever did was join church because I was meeting with a mentor and learning a lot about Jesus anyway. And I'm a believer. And when I started joining a church, uh, certain church where I'm from. Uh, it's only been where I live for about 7, almost 8 years. So it's a relatively new church, but I have met so many people my age. It's been so fun. Um, and then reach out to others. Like, you might not have people reaching out to you like you wish that they would, or you might not have a lot of social support, but keep trying. I have another video about when you lack friendships. You should go check that out if you need to. Um, it's important to get out in public and socialize with people a little bit. If you're checking out at the grocery store, if you're buying a coffee, compliment the person who's ringing you up. Compliment their shirt, compliment their earrings, compliment, their hair, something, or just say, "You're such a nice person. Thank you so much." And just being vocal and socializing, even if it's for fleeting moments, it's so much better than being in your own head all the time and being by yourself. So get yourself out there, try to make an effort to meet people, and again, go watch that video that I have about when you lack friendships and tips that I have for you on that. So thank you, God bless you, and I hope that's helpful. Yeah, take care, and best of luck in your endeavors. Peace.